Hello there, I'm Jackie Notman, and this is your energy reading for the month of June 2012 using Feng Shui Astrology and the Tarot. Now, people often ask me why I talk about Feng Shui Astrology first and the Tarot second, and I always do because I feel that Feng Shui Astrology, the energy is almost like a kind of a backdrop to what's going on. And with the Tarot, we can get down to a little bit more detail. So that's the reason why we're doing this. So Feng Shui Astrology for June 2012. Now, in the astrology month, it actually begins on June the 6th. The energy will start to shift, and we're moving into a water month. We're moving into a water month from an earth month, so the feeling's going to be very, very different. If you think of water, it has so many different characteristics. It can be very hard. Think of a torrential rainstorm or the force of Niagara Falls, or it can be very soft and gentle. If you think of dew on a petal at dawn, it's very, very really, really soft. And that's the wonderful thing about water. It can be one or the other, and it can take you by surprise, and it can change very, very quickly. Now, if you're somebody who's got a lot of water energy in their chart, you're going to be very much in the spotlight this month, but you're going to be comfortable with it, and other people may not be so comfortable with it. If you're not sure what your own energy is, or your own inherent energy, or what your astrology stars are, then by all means have a look at my website. The information is there at the bottom of the screen. Click on the link to Feng Shui Astrology and you can work that out. It's quite simple to do. And some of this may make more sense to you. So anyway, water energy. Water energy is about diplomacy. It's about negotiating. It's about getting a win-win situation. People with a lot of water energy like everybody to get something out of a situation. And so I think this month there's going to be a lot of flavour of talking, trying to reach agreements, trying to conclude matters, conclude issues as well. Water is about being flexible, being bendy. There's quite an old saying that the rigid trees will get knocked down by the storm because they're so rigid, whereas the softer, smaller, bendy branches will survive a storm purely because they're very, very bendy. And that's a very good lesson that we can use throughout our lives, but especially so this month, because that energy is going to be with us and it's going to be there for us to use as well. So on a big international or national level, we could be looking at diplomacy measures and all sorts of talks and negotiations going on. But on an individual level as well, it might be time to, address all those things that are just not right in your life. Talk to people if there are issues and really try to resolve the situation. And when you do that, it's really important to put your ego on the back step. Talking about people with water energy in their stars, people who are very, very strong with water energy, they tend to have the ego that kind of takes a back step, doesn't mind maybe being knocked back a little bit because they know that in the bigger picture they're going to get a winning situation for everybody concerned. And that's a good thing to take on, and the energy is going to be supporting you if you want to do that this month. So it's really, really good. Now, in terms of things like wealth and relationships, I thought it'd be interesting to look at where the auspicious chi is this month, and it's actually going to be the northeast. So in your home, if you have a northeast sector that you use quite often, don't worry if it's a storeroom or anything like that, just ignore it. But if it's somewhere that you use quite often, it's quite important to keep it very clear. Keep it well lit. Do important things there, like your work or your homework or writing checks or anything like that, anything that's related to the goals that you want to achieve, and that will help. In terms of relationships, if you want to improve your relationship or even get one, the area you need to concentrate on this month particularly is the northwest. And that's really where relationships are going to be. Now, we're not talking about maybe intimate relationships, although it could be that, but any sort of relationships at all, it's really, really important that, again, you keep that area clean and tidy. If you're looking for intimate relationships, then have things that represent pairs and represent your ideal person if you want to attract somebody into your life as well. But the northwest is really the place to go. And again, if you want more tips on how to bring lucky or auspicious chi into your life, or romantic chi that supports relationships, then again, have a look at my website, click on the Feng Shui link, and there's all sorts of information for you there that you can really kind of get working on those aspects of your life if you want to. So we have the water energy, we have almost an ego taking the step back, we have negotiations, we have diplomacy, we have giving people a little bit of space to find their own solutions and working with them. And it's quite interesting because when we look at the tarot cards that I've drawn, we can see that happening as well. So I've drawn 3 tarot. The first one is the Hanged Man. Now, he's actually reversed. That's what he should look like normally, because he's hanging from a foot. But in the drawing that I've made today, he's actually reversed. So it looks as if he's standing up, but he's still hanged. Okay. The second card we have there is the 6 of Wands. Very nice card. And the third card we have is also a reversed card. This is actually the 8 of Cups. So what we can see from the 8 of Cups, that's normally what he's like. Not a very particularly happy card, but he's reversed. Okay. Now, I tend to do reversals with this particular pack, which is the Rider-Waite pack, because it just gives more nuances, more aspects. It also helps to give, with certain cards, a timing aspect. So the meaning could be very, very similar, but when a card is reversed, it could mean that it's just not now, not happening at the moment. For some reason, you're not letting it happen or something like that. So, so it's really quite important, I think, to look at the reverse meanings as well. So we have two reverse cards. Doesn't necessarily mean they're bad or anything like that. But what I want to look at is 2 together. And we just go back here. Okay, so I want to look at that Hangman and the 8 of Cups together, because what they're saying is actually very similar, and it picks up what I've also said about the water energy this month. And I'm really talking about egos here and letting things go. So if we look at the Hanged Man first of all, normally the Hanged Man, which is a major card, is about making sacrifices. It's about seeing the bigger picture and knowing that you have to move on from situations and from things in your life to get new experience and new things into your life. You have to remove things from your life to make space, so that new things can move in. And the Hanged Man is really all about that. It can also be about spiritual growth as well. But remember, he's upside down. And so there's a feeling that you may know that you've got to give something up, but you're not doing it at the moment for whatever reason. Either you feel you're not ready, there's a fear there, or you feel that, the time is not right. Or your ego may be saying, no, please don't give that up. The ego is a very traditional kind of creature, really. It doesn't like change. It likes to know. It's a little bit like cats, Cats like security. If you have a cat and you move all your furniture around, they have to walk around and find out what's going on, and they're very kind of jittery and everything. And your ego's a little bit like that. When you suggest doing something new, changing something, it says, oh yeah, hang on, I don't know whether we ought to do this. And some people's egos are stronger in that respect than others. And so your ego will sometimes not let you give something up, and that comes down to a fear thing as well. And let's look at this this other card here, the 8 of Cups, very much linked to your emotions. There are situations in our life where we hold on to stuff. We hold on to stuff with our heart, basically, because we don't want to let go. Situations where logically we can say, yeah, it's not doing me any good, it's wearing me down, and it's a situation that I don't want to be involved, but I don't know how to get out of it. I can't let go. And that's not a great situation. But when we reach this stage where we have the Eight of Cups, it's that turning point. And it's that turning point that says, now I have to move on, now I have to let go. It might be a physical grieving process where you can finally reach the end of that process, and you can put that situation in your past. It may just be that you stop thinking about a certain person every single day. It may just be that you physically move from a situation as well. You turn your back on this situation and say, no more, that's it, that's the end of it. Now, because this card is reversed, it means that that isn't happening at the moment, that you're not letting go. And I think both of these cards really are a bit of a warning here, because, you know, with that water energy, whatever you've been holding on to, or whatever you've been not giving up because you're a little bit frightened, you don't really know what's going to fill it. You think of water. You put water into an empty container, it is going to fill it. And this energy is here for you this month to say, you know, it's okay for you to start letting go. You don't have to do it all at once, but you can start letting go of things, and you can start trying new things, moving in different directions, and it will be all right. You'll survive, and you'll look back on this time and think, why did I ever be like that for such a long time? Why didn't I give that up before? But, you know, these things have to happen when the time is right. And I think the water energy is really, really supportive of you to make changes now. So those are those two cards. Think about what you're holding on to. Think about what's holding you back. Think about what you'd like to do, but you haven't quite done it yet because you've got an excuse. Think about all the excuses and really, really just look at them and say, is that really true? Or am I just making it up? But remember, we have a third card. We have a third card. I like this card. This is the, it's a Wands card. It's a Six of Wands. Wands is about fire, it's about creativity. And again, this represents a turning point for Wands. You know, if we think about the Five of Wands, it's a little bit about struggle and a little bit about maybe having to defend ourselves and perhaps confront other people. But this card, there isn't anything about that. This card, the guy is sitting on a horse and he's got a laurel wreath, and it's almost like he's been applauded and he's been celebrated, and there's a feeling that things are just going to turn out absolutely fine. And that's, you know, another thing about the water energy. If you spend a lot of time with somebody with a lot of water energy, I can guarantee that you're probably going to go away, if they're in a really strong water mode, they're going to go away, or you're going to go away feeling absolutely fantastic, because they will make you see options, they will make you see different ways of doing things, they will actually point out to you what's really good about you, which perhaps you'd forgotten about or you hadn't even realised. And I think this is really important. If you're deciding to give up stuff with the other two tarot cards, you've got to know what you're holding on to and the good stuff that you're holding on to. And that's really, really important, because otherwise we can end up throwing out so much and feeling so depleted and terrible that we just attract some of the same kind of dross and crap to us again, and we really don't want to do that. So focus on what's good about you, focus on your goals and your objectives, and focus on what you want to bring into your life, and that water energy is going to help you. And that's about it. That's really all I have to say about June. Here in the Northern Hemisphere, it's summer. We have the solstice on the 21st, which will mark the longest day, or the shortest day if you're in the southern hemisphere. But whether it's longest or shortest, there is going to be a shift in energy. And what you'll find next month when we look at the Feng Shui astrology especially is you might almost get a feeling kind of deja vu, because around about the 21st everything kind of reverses and everything turns around, and you kind of get this thing. You might go backwards for a little while, but it's okay. It's all going to work out absolutely fine. So have a great June. If you're interested in anything else that I do, there's my website at the bottom of the screen. Pop on, have a look. I also add blogs there quite regularly as well. Or you can have a reading with me either by email or by Skype. All sorts of things. Have a look and have a great June, and I'll see you next month.